What's up, guys? So, we all have people in our life that we know there's just this mutual dislike, right? Like, you don't like them, they don't like you. You may never, full out said it, but there's just that tension. So, instead of like letting things escalate to the point where, they're flat out just, or even you, just flat out, doing crazy stuff to like harm them, whether it's like something at work or, whatever. What you can do to control them is actually doing something counterintuitive, okay? And what you want to do, and hear me out, because I've done this before, the people who are your enemies, actually go out of your way to be nice to them, to do good for them. Do something that's like really like, for example, you work with someone, you dislike them, right? You mutually dislike them, and I've noticed a lot of times in life, people mirror, what we do. So, may not be your fault. For example, it's a person I know at work. I think they're kind of a shit person. They have, I could bring up some stuff to HR if I wanted to. However, I'm not gonna. I just feel like I don't want to be a tattletale, right? So instead of like continuing this like tension go, what I've done is go out of my way and do nice things for them. You know, doesn't have to be anything crazy, just little nice things and that they notice. Okay, and I've noticed that since I've started doing that, even though there's this mutual dislike still, they started to match that and also go out of their way and almost like do nicer things for me. Like do what I did, but beat that a little bit, you know? I'm not saying that this is a foolproof method, but give it a shot. You'll be surprised too. Honestly, too, you're gonna slide under the radar, okay? Because you can go into things that are talked about in like the book, The 48 Laws of Power, which is a very good book. However, you gotta just be careful. Don't do some messed up things in your life. Be very careful what the actions you take and the words you say. However, I've just practiced over and over a few times, right? And it's working, guys. It's something where this is someone who I really don't see myself being friends with ever. However, you can't pretend. You cannot. You can't. What's the harm in pretending to be friendly? Because also, guys, you gotta make sure you gotta because they prove to be to you already who they truly are. And instead of like, um, you know, instead of wondering, oh, maybe they changed. Like, okay, like maybe they're a good person now. Never fall that trap, guys. The number one way of predicting future behavior of someone is looking at their past behavior. Look at what they've done, not what they say, not what they're, oh, he's changed or she's changed. Fuck that shit, dude. People do change, but no, you never like don't rely on that shit. They change very few, like very out of the there's a percentage of people who actually change very low, okay? So, if someone you knew, for example, steals shit, he's stolen from you before, you don't trust that motherfucker. You can do nice shit to them and put on this facade, right? And then they're gonna be confused, right? And they're gonna do nice things for you, but don't ever fucking trust that person. Once someone has done something to you once, you never fucking trust them, okay? I'm not to say to make you jaded or whatever. However, it's one of those things where you'll be burned by thinking that someone has like changed for the better. They gotta prove over and over again. Even then, man, never fucking trust them fully. Okay, so you can take your enemies and turn them into to allies rather. But you never actually trust them on a super deep level. Never actually like leave your biggest belongings or whatever with them. Like you can let them think that you trust them, but you never actually do. Okay, so all in all, in a nutshell, whoever your enemy is right now, do some nice things for him. Do something friendly and out of the way for them, okay? And you'll see how they start acting different towards you, okay? May not be immediately, but it'll probably happen. Let me know what you think below, guys. Peace.